Okay, now that we've got a floor plan finished, we have our elevations done, we have all our hatch, we're moving on to our electrical plan. Now, electrical to me is pretty easy, but you need to take it one step at a time. First thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go ahead and let's create a new layer. So you come up to your layer properties, click on new, and this one we're going to call wiring. Okay. It is going to be on. Color is going to be, let's do it as a cyan first, because we will change it later. The line type is going to be hidden. It won't look hidden until we actually change it as far as the LT scale at the end. And let's go ahead and make this line weight on this wiring. Let's do it as a 0.25. And it's going to be printable. Okay. So wiring on, cyan, hidden, 0.25, and printable. We're good there. Now, next thing, place yourself into the zero layer. And I'm going to turn mine back on. Zero layer. And you know what, at this point, just so that you guys can see this easier, and yours will be there because you've already moved all your stuff, I'm just going to delete this stuff here. Gotta remember, this is my whole setup here is just for demo purposes. All right, so I'm going to put myself in the zero layer. I'm going to go to Insert, Insert, Browse. I'm going to go to my W drive, Drafting One Architectural Project, and come over here to, I can see it, electrical symbols, and tell it open. Now, explode must be checked, tell it okay, and I'm going to put it real close over to this side. It's a small file. Okay, so we've already discussed this during class time, and you've got your fan with a light. If you take the L away, it'll just be the fan. This is your fluorescent lights, and they usually come in groups of 2. And if they come in groups of 2, you're going to do something like this. You'll copy from here to here. So these are like what we have in school. They still have those in houses, you know, kitchens, things like that. So it's going to be your choice. Now, each of these are fine, but I have them set up for you guys so that you don't have to really think about it. The wall would be here. This is how you would put them in. So the wall would be here. This is how you're putting them in. Go through these very quickly because we've already done this in class. This is your light. This represents a can light, any kind of box where they're going to put a light in. Okay? This one here is a regular electrical socket, just like you find you plug your TV into it, your computer into it. GFI. This one is ground fault interrupter, and what this has to be placed near water, like your kitchen sink, your bathroom sink. Remember, this is the one with the red and black buttons that stops the electrical current through, and it helps prevent people from getting shocked and killed. This one is your WP. It's weatherproof, waterproof. These are the ones outside. There's nothing different on these except they have the little cover over top of them. This little guy here is 220. This is your dryer. This is your stove. This could be that stackable washer and dryer also. This one here is just a regular light switch. Walk into the house, flip the light on, it comes on. This switch with a 3, this is the one, it's a 2-pole, which means you walk in your, a lot of people do this. So walk in your kitchen from maybe your garage, and you can flip your lights on. Then you're walking out of your kitchen and you're going into the dining room. And you have another switch over there, and you can turn that light off, and it turns the lights off in your kitchen. So there's 2 switches tied together. This one here with the 4, there's 3 switches. Maybe you've got another switch somewhere else that will turn that light off. So you have 3 switches all separate. I'll show you in the demo. This switch here is a dimmer switch. You can pretty much do that to anything. This is your telephone jack, not a telephone. You speak on a telephone. The point goes to the wall. This is a cable outlet. The box goes to the wall, so this is where you would have your TV or your cable that comes into your house. That's pretty much it. Now, the easiest thing to do is start in a room, such as over here. Let me start in that bedroom. And you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead, and I have no problem if you copy these things or whatever. I'm going to move this over to this area so I can grab things as I need. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I am definitely going to put a ceiling fan and a light in this bedroom. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and center it up. I need some switches. My switches need to be here on this wall here. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to copy my switch. and take it from the end point here, and I'm going to come over here to begin with. I'm going to plop it in the middle, and you know what? I can move it over. Keep your ortho on, so I'm going to put one right there, and now I'm going to copy and put one right next to it. Now, I personally prefer to have a switch for the light and a switch for the fan. You can do one for both. You just have to go run into the middle of your room and pull down that little chain. So I'm going to come in here with my wiring. Right, let me turn that on. Go to the wiring layer, and I'm going to come under here under draw, and there is this command here called spline fit or spline. I'm going to attach from the top and make sure my ortho's off, and I'm going to draw a nice arcing loop to the center. Not to the blades, but to the center. And I'm going to do it again here, and I'm not going to cross this. It needs to have a nice arc to it. Okay, we don't want it to be spaghetti, but we want a nice arc. I'm going to pick the center and trim out these lines. So there we are. I walk in, I can turn on my light, I can turn on my fan. I have two. So that's done. Now the next thing, I'm going to copy an electrical outlet. I'm going to take it from this quadrant here, and you know what? I need to turn that snap on. I'm going to turn on quadrant, and I'm going to turn, yeah, that'll be fine. I'm going to take it from my quadrant down here, and I'm going to move it over onto this wall. I'm going to actually leave it right there in the center. That's fine here, so I've got this. Now, remember with these electrical plugs, you need to have them every 8 feet, so you're not dealing with extension cords. We talked about that also. So now I'm going to be on this wall. So I'm going to come over here and take this one, and I'm going to take it here. And now think about it. Think about placement. I'm going to place one on this wall somewhere, and then I'm going to move it. If I have this one here, I'm going to go ahead and move this one straight down. I'm going to keep my ortho on. I'm going to move it down to about here. Am I going to measure? No. Am I going to eyeball it? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and copy this one and move this one up here. See that? So this is about 8 foot apart. I'm going to come up here and copy again this one here. And this time I'm going to place it in the middle. And yeah, it's under the window. The window's not all the way to the floor. I'm good right here. I have no problem with it. So you can see where I'm going with this. The last one I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the one over here. And I'm going to place it in the middle first. And I'm going to move it up and go from there. And I'm going to copy this one here. And I'm actually going to put this one a little bit behind the door. And that'll be fine right there. Not a big deal. So we are all set and ready to go. This room is done. Now think about it. The way these things lined up, we talked about it. If the bed was over here, you would have electrical on both sides. If the bed was here, you still have electrical. So you have multiple places to put beds and such. Okay? Now, you know, there's one thing that I forgot to make, which I will make so it actually goes into there. Talking about the bathroom. Let's come through here and let's go copy. I'm going to take a GFI because this one is going to be by water. And let's put our snaps back on. And I'm going to bring that and put it over here. I'm going to go ahead and and I don't have a window there, so I definitely need to put one of those courtesy fans in. So let me show you how that's going to work. I'm just going to stick that right there for right now, and I'm going to move it over because I like to snap things to areas, and it's easier for me just to move it as I need to. And then I'm going to copy it. Okay, now here's the deal. I forgot to on this video I forgot to do a courtesy fan. So let me show you how to do a courtesy fan really quick, and hopefully I'll remember to get this done before you actually pull it into place. So I'm going to go back to electrical. I'm going to do a 2-point circle here to here, and another 2-point circle. Like I said, hopefully I'll remember to do this. There's a courtesy fan. So I'm going to throw that in there. Hopefully I'll remember. Now, with that, I'm going to go ahead and copy and take my courtesy fan, and I'm going to put it over this area somewhere near the toilet tub area. Right about here would be fine. And I'm going to take my light here, and I'm going to place it. I'll place it here first. I'm going to move it because I like snapping things to it. I'm going to put my light directly over my sink. Now you got to remember, this is just the box they're going to put there. The actual light itself is going to be completely different. So with this, come back to my wiring and come down to spline. I like having my first light, always go over to my actual real light. Turn that off here real quick. I'm going to bring that to the middle, and I'm going to do the next one. I'm not a big fan of crossing things over, but this truly makes sense. And I'm going to trim out. Okay, how hard was that? So there's my GFI, my switches, my one light, courtesy fan. You won't need this courtesy fan if you have a window, but if you have a window, you don't need it. But if you want it, you can put it in. But if you don't have a window, you definitely need it. Okay? Now, in the kitchen and such, let's see what we've got here. Let's do one of those. Let's do some switches here. Let's see what we're doing. On the refrigerator, if you are doing an electrical outlet, I'm just going to copy this one because it's on the proper side of the wall. You would place it right there. It's right on the back of it. If you're putting electrical here, it doesn't need the GFI. If you're putting electrical up here, you do need this. On this one over here, see I have that pocket door behind it? That one is one of those big guys, the 220. So I'm going to take this, and I can't put it where the door is because that's not going to work. But I can put it back here in this area right here. So there is space for that. So that's not a problem. And you'll see when we actually do the printing, this will be darker. You'll be able to see it a lot better. Then if you end up having those fluorescent lights in your kitchen, you can do things like this. I am not a big fan of people putting ceiling fans in their kitchen for the simple fact it really blows away a lot of grease into the rest of the house. But I want to show you really quick this thing here with the S with the 2, okay, or the S with the 3. Let me copy this one. And I'm going to put that one right over here, and I'm going to move it off that edge because it's snapped, which I don't have a problem with. Oops, I must have that thing directly underneath it. Let me do this real quick. Move. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Let me move it back. And of course, I took the wrong one. So that's the one that's supposed to move, so I can deal with this. Put that on the wall layer. Drop this on the electrical. I'm not playing around with it right now. Okay, I have that S3 there because I'm going to take and go from here. Take off my ortho. I'm going to do a nice spline to here. Then I'm going to have over in this way, so I'm going to go ahead and copy again. The S3. Notice I'm taking it on which way the wall is going to be. I'm going to place it here, and I'm going to move it over. And remember, the electrician's going to put it in the area he feels best it needs to go. He's not going to sit there and measure it. So then I have this, and I can do my wiring here. And that's about it. So I'm coming into my kitchen from this utility. I can turn my light on here. I'm leaving out. I can turn it off by here. And of course, I would go through and I put my other electrical in these other areas that I need. You need a light outside. My wall's right there. Let's just copy. And I'm not going to do the whole house. You're going to have to think about it, and you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do. So there's my light for outside. And I place my switch here and go right around. So I want you to start thinking on where you're going to put things. I also don't have a problem if you just print out your electrical all by yourself, and you could actually write and figure out what you want where. So when you come into class, you can instantly start working on it without having to even think. You can actually do it that way. And if you're not quite sure, you can fill it out in pencil, and then you can simply drop it off to me and give me a little bit of a heads up or a head start with it. And I'll be more than happy to kind of check on it as long as you're using symbols that I can understand. So I'm not going to go too much more into any detail. I want you to be able to figure this out on your own. I would actually put a switch to turn a light on here, and I'd probably use this, one of the three, so I can turn it off here too. So that's what I'm looking at, so there would be no problem. Let's see what I can do here. And let me just steal that 3 out of there, which I can do. And let's just take the light. Place it here. Come on back. Let's go trim. See, so I walk in, that light is turned on here, it is turned off here. This light turns on here, it turns off here. And don't forget, I would definitely be putting my electrical outlets here and here. I'd be adding more electrical along here. And then in this room, of course, I'd have my switches with my light. I'd have my ceiling fan and my lights. You would do each of these rooms as such. It's not difficult. You just have to follow all the way through and remember which one goes where. So if you take this guy here and put it on the wall that's up this way, it's going to be wrong. So you got a couple options. You can do room by room, not a problem. Or you can print one out for yourself. You can fill it in on pencil, sketch it out. I can look at it, whichever. And then you know what you're doing with it. So that's completely up to you. Now remember, you don't have to put tons of lights out here. A couple of lights are fine. Your outside electrical. Think about with your house. The more electrical you put outside, the more chance someone's going to steal your electric. So think about what you need. Go room by room. And I think that should really do it. I need to get up on here so I can get this really quick and get that guy put on there for you. Okay? So I think we are set.